Had to bring the fancy mic out for this one. So I do have proof, and I'll show you here in just a second, but the square cubed law gets broken when it comes to dinosaurs and older prehistoric life, especially dinosaurs. Dinosaurs, for the most part, had hollow bones, which means that they had more of a spongy structure to them. They were not like our bones, which are very solid except for that marrow center. Dinosaur bones didn't have that marrow center. They just had that fibrous kind of bone structure, which allowed them to have lighter bodies. Titanosaurs, which this video is talking about, like Dreadnoughtus and stuff like that, they had the same bone structure as every other dinosaur. So something that would have our bone structure probably didn't weigh 80 tons, it probably weighed 100 tons, which starts getting into that square cubed law. The bigger the animal, the more gravity is affecting it, and it, like something like Godzilla, which is over 250 feet tall, he would collapse under his own weight because things just cannot get that big. Physically in our world, it just doesn't happen. So then that brings me to my zero proof, which you capitalized zero. I think that was very strange. But anyway, this article talks about why dinosaurs don't collapse under their own weight. I did a 2-second Google search with that in mind. Why don't dinosaurs collapse under their own weight? This popped up and it explains everything. So I'm just going to read the highlighted part, but you can read everything else. This is the end of the article, and right above that, it basically asks the question, why don't dinosaurs collapse under their own weight? So, in the highlighted area, it says, the development of hollow bones allowed dinosaurs to break the square cubed law as they weighed much less than would be expected and thus could support larger sizes without collapsing themselves. In addition, they had air sacs all up and down their necks. They had them in their bodies. All dinosaurs have air sacs, so that's why we can get dinosaurs that are 50 feet long and weigh 15,000 pounds like Tyrannosaurus Rex. Look, dude, I'm undiagnosed, but I'm pretty sure my autism with this stuff is insane. So I've been obsessed with these things for decades at this point. I go out of my way to buy a bunch of toys and books, and basically my whole channel is dinosaur stuff. The only reason why I say it's sad is because you do a 2-second Google search or just come to my channel, I'll help you out. It's really not that hard to just look it up. If you do have questions, of course there are people out there that are willing to answer those questions. I'm one of those people. Anytime it comes to dinosaur stuff, I never take it as a stupid question, because there are people such as yourself that just don't do the research, and there's not enough people in this world that really care about dinosaurs. In your original comment that I commented on, you had said that they're just carved rocks. Fossils aren't just carved rocks, dude. That's not how fossilization works. Again, just do a quick Google search on fossilization. I'll break it down I'll sum it up real quick for you. Dinosaur dies. Let's put him in a lake because it's really easy to preserve stuff in water. Dinosaur gets ripped apart because it's being eaten by, I don't know, crocodilians, fish, bugs, stuff like that. So not all the body parts are there, right? Then, as time progresses, it's getting covered by that sand, that mud, that sediment, and so finally the whole body is covered. Then, as the body starts to decay, the calcium in the bones starts getting replaced with the sediment that it's sitting in. This is not like a month-long thing. This takes hundreds of thousands of millions of years for this process to continue. Then we get to modern day, and through erosion and all sorts of fun stuff like that, we're able to find these fossils. Bits and pieces of them will be scattered or will pop out of the ground because wind, rain, stuff like that will reveal the bone to us. Then we dig it up, we put it back together as best we can, and lo and behold, we have our fossils. And that was very simplified, like extremely simplified. But that's how fossilization works. Fossils aren't just rocks that have been carved out for people to make money. If you don't understand paleontology, which obviously you don't, paleontologists do not get paid that well. They're not like doctors as in healing the body doctors or bringing people back to life doctors, like, a hospital. They are scientific doctors, and they don't get paid a lot. If anything, they get paid roughly $30,000 to maybe $50,000 a year, because government funding and stuff like that, they just don't give a shit about paleontology, which is extremely sad. This is our history. This is Earth's history, and people just don't care enough about it. Like, paleontologists like Jim Kirkland, he's working on a big old giant slab of Utah raptor skeletons, and he needs funding. He needs help, because the technology, trying to pay for that, paying for the lights, paying for, all the stuff to keep this thing preserved, to go back to the area that he found this slab and to try and recover more stuff, it costs money to do that. So why would they pretend to carve stuff that would already take money to make money off of the carvings? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So what I suggest for you to do is either follow my channel, because I try to teach people in a very dumbed down way about dinosaurs and fossilization and how all that works. Or you could do a quick Google search and try and find your answers there. Try and stay away from .com stuff and go for the .org stuff or .net stuff, because a lot of that is usually good sources for like scientific papers and stuff like that. That's the best advice I can give you. I'm not here to try and bring you down and call you dumb or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is educate you. I just think, personally, I think it's sad that we're at a level of humanity where you just have the computer in your hand and you're like, shouldn't square cubed law work with dinosaurs? Well, let's check it out. And then just type it into Google or type it into Safari or whatever service you use, and the answer's there. It's always going to be there.